I grew up in a faith group where the hallways of the churches felt like home. No matter where I traveled, when I would attend church, the members felt like family. And I never imagined that that would not be a part of my life because it was such a big part of my life. But unbeknownst to me, as I was showing up at church with pure intention to learn and grow my faith and showing up to potlucks, bringing, my crock pot full of deliciousness and coming to help clean the bathrooms and vacuum the floors and doing my part, teaching the children. Oh, I did not know that behind the scenes there was group chats going on about me. There was efforts to set up traps and entrap me, gossip, and just horrific behavior behind the scenes as I was being targeted by the members. I am a whistleblower about some things that I've seen, and because of my background, I have a pretty keen eye for red flags and things that might be a risk, a safety risk. So, it would seem that that would have been received as valuable, but I was treated pretty poorly. And in the culture, the higher the ranking in the priesthood that the men are, the more protected they definitely are. And if you say anything that might be negative about somebody in a high-ranking position, it doesn't fare well for you if you're a female, as I have learned. When I first started working with stalking victims a couple decades ago, stalking looked a lot different than it does now. Technology has really allowed for an increase of technological abuse in stalking cases. And I am so grateful for the experiences that I've had in the past, for the trainings, the conferences, for everything that I have learned, because I don't think I would have survived what would come in my situation and the magnitude of the community stalking, online stalking, the attacks, the targeting that would become part of my life. I think all those experiences really were a blessing in disguise to help prepare me for what was to come. And it's been heartbreaking. People that I really held in such high regard, I've been so shocked at their behavior and just can't believe some of the things that have occurred, some of the crimes that have been committed. And I feel for the members that are good people, because it's going to be crushing to them when all has come to the light about what has occurred and who's involved. And it's going to change things forever. It's going to be painful and change the culture, but obviously God's not going to stand by idly and allow the churches to become the devil's playground. He's going to bring to light what's done in the dark and help clean up things that need to be cleaned up. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the abuse of technology, how abusers will use technology to target and terrorize victims, because that's been such a large portion of the stalking in my case. I mean, certainly I've been followed and had my windows peered in and my house broken into and my property damaged and vandalized and things like that. But the hacking and all of the cyber crimes have definitely been a notable part of everything that's occurred as well. So the first thing I would talk about is recording, unlawful surveillance, putting recording devices in homes or outside of homes, monitoring everywhere about every move, just reporting to each other, paying people to watch or report back. That has been a large part, to not have any privacy and to have every move you make be up for a discussion amongst a group is really creepy. Non-consensual dissemination of my personal information, images that were, non-consensual. That's a huge part of, these stalking abusive tactics. Those that are victims of exploitation, revenge porn, a partner's bitter because you've left them and now they're going to get you back by either blackmailing you or trying to humiliate you with images that you never thought would be shared amongst a community. Very serious crimes that victims are subjected to that weren't so much back in the day. Stalkers used to follow physically, but now they can really do incredible damage to a victim's ability to obtain work, to their reputation, harming their loved ones that are witness to this, damaging those relationships. Pretty serious and heinous behavior. The cyber stalking, creating fake accounts, trying to, blacklist somebody's social media, especially in my situation where I try to speak up. There's those who will try to report my page frequently so that I can't get my messages out. But it's been a critical thing because how else would good investigators know what's going on, because the dirty ones weren't doing their job and just allowed all these crimes to be committed for a very long time and covered and protected those engaging in them. So my voice, my freedom of speech rights have been a critical piece in getting information out on this. So of course my attackers are going to try to silence me, and they've done that in ways beyond reporting my pages, trying to silence me by discrediting me, by spreading rumors about me, and trying to silence me permanently through various means. Spoofing, or is where you think you're communicating or clicking on a trusted source. That's an abuse of technology that's common to be able to get into devices or to trick a victim. Online harassment, the creation of pages or group chats where the whole goal is to bully and discuss and mock and target a victim. Been targeted in that way as well by people that I've never done anything wrong to. I have only been kind to. I think about some of the participants and all the meals that I brought them, or I came and braided your hair after you had surgery. Like, how are you doing this to me? I've only been good to you. So it's been a little heartbreaking, but there's the impersonation, where they'll take a victim's image and put them on dating sites or on web pages, fake accounts, and communicate with people as if they're actually that victim, to try to frame them or to try to make them look a certain way, to try to damage their relationships with others, to, communicate things to make them look unstable so they can turn around and be like, look, they're unstable, or look, they're on 20 dating sites. But meanwhile, the person accusing is the one that put them there, exploiting them online without the victim's knowledge or consent. Tracking of victims, that can be done through devices, on their vehicle. I used to love to wear a Fitbit to track my steps, and it's not even safe for me to do that anymore, which is really sad. Just the things that have been removed from my life, the normalcies, because so many people have joined in on this large scheme to block my blessings, to take what is rightfully mine, and to try to destroy every area of my life because I speak truth, or because they may have envy toward me. They just want to block a blessing because they're jealous of it, or because they listen to rumors and believe them without, checking facts or using, good discernment and clear thinking before jumping onto the hate train of terrorism that they've chosen to be participants in. And computer crimes, they will imitate the victim and commit financial crimes, fraud, profit off the victim, selling and utilizing their image to make a profit. there's so many abuses that can occur as a result of technology. And it's really sad because these kind of behaviors are being seen amongst teenagers, amongst youth, these poor kids that'll have images of them shared amongst peers without their consent, or even AI faked images to try to make the victim look a certain way and to humiliate them and to try to ruin their reputation. So I wish I had more technological experience. I'm lucky if I can figure out where the cords go to set up my TV, but I'm sure there are protections out there that can better assist parents that are trying to guide and protect their kids from these kinds of crimes, especially as teens are dating. The teen dating violence and abuse is rampant. So it's very important to educate and get yourself educated so you can really be alert to red flags that may become present to protect your youth from these crimes as well. So my heart goes out to those that were not involved when the news breaks about everything that has occurred. It's going to be pretty shaking to a lot of communities to know what was really going on, and trusted people in the community that you would never expect to behave in such horrendous and cruel ways, what they've chosen to be part of. So protect yourself, and if a victim comes forward and says, I'm being stalked, I'm being tracked, I'm being hacked, please believe them, please help them, please support them.